Hey guys, how's it going, and welcome back to Toon Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news. We may as well start things off with the game from the weekend. 12:30 kickoff, we went down to Cardiff and drew 0-0. It was on TV, so I'm sure loads of you guys have seen it, and big up to everyone who went down to Cardiff for the game as well. We actually started off the game pretty well. Perez with some early shots on goal could have very easily put us in the lead very early on, and then the rest of the game was pretty much all about the poor tackles, potential red cards and a red card, along with a missed penalty at the end. So we'll start things off with the Hayden red card. I'm sure you guys have seen it. He's gone straight through the back of him, so you can see why it was a red card. And my biggest question is actually just, what are you doing, Hayden? Basically, we know that there's obviously been a lot of talk about him wanting to leave the club to go back down south for personal reasons. You're wondering where his head is in that game. And my first question is, he's making that tackle he didn't need to. He's been given a red. When you watch it back, maybe a bit harsh with the red for me, but he's gone straight into him from behind, so you can't really argue it too hard. And then for tackles that weren't red cards, Kennedy kicking out, he's actually got away with that somehow. I think he is quite lucky to get away with that. Apparently there was a free kick given, and because action was taken on the pitch, nothing can be done about it now. So yeah, Kennedy just needs to watch himself. Obviously doing that kind of thing in a game could have very easily led to a red card. And then on the other side, I think it was Harriata on Joselu. Now, for me, if you're calling Hayden's a red, I think you've got to call that a red as well. And then you're just questioning the ref's game overall. If you're questioning 3 tackles that may or may not have been a red, you got to say the ref did not have a good game. And then to finish it all off, the missed penalty by Kennedy. Kennedy had a poor game, you've got to say. And when he's stepping up to take that, part of me is thinking he's about to make up for what was a pretty poor game on his behalf. And then you're also thinking, surely we should really have someone else taking this. And it was a poor penalty, straight down the middle. It got saved, and that could have been 3 points on the board. You don't get many bigger gifts than a penalty in the last minute of a 0-0 game. So we could have come away with the 3 points. In fairness to Kennedy, I don't think he did have a good game, and there was the stat that he didn't make a single complete pass in the first half. However, you can see that he's trying to create something. He was trying to go around too many players all in one go. But you know the skill he's got. So I don't want to, lay into him too much, because he is trying to create, and that is what you need when you're moving the ball forward, a creative player. He was just doing it a bit too much, but I'm sure Rafa will have that chat with him. And if he can take it around one player, pass it on and make that run down the left, that's sometimes even better than taking it around 3 players. So he can't play in the next game because it's Chelsea, and we'll talk about that later. He's obviously on loan from Chelsea, but moving forward, we know he's a great player. He just had a bad game and he missed a penalty, so fingers crossed he can get his confidence back moving forward. Overall, I just think we didn't have a great game against Cardiff, and it happens. I actually thought we played better against Spurs. We had less of the ball, but creatively moving forward, I thought we did really well. And then for whatever reason in the Cardiff game, it just wasn't working. But then once we were down to 10 men, it was always going to be a struggle chasing that extra man. So yeah, and we didn't see Rondon. We didn't see Rondon, obviously with players coming off injured. Manquillo came off injured. Apparently it's not serious. And then obviously with the Hayden red card, there wasn't really much option to bring Rondon on. But hopefully, Chelsea this weekend, we might see him. Something else that's happened, the League Cup draw has been announced, and we've got Nottingham Forest away on the 29th of August. You might remember, last year I was at the game, we got knocked out by Nottingham Forest in the League Cup through an extra time goal. So the team that knocked us out at home, we are now going to play them away. So I know it's a bit 50-50 with some people of who wants a cup run, who doesn't want a cup run. and I do realise there's much bigger fish to fry in the Premier League. However, I would love to see a cup run from Newcastle, so fingers crossed we can go down there in a week and a half's time and put in a good shift and come away with the win. Something that happened last night at St James's Park, Newcastle under-23s beat Sunderland under-23s 5-0. If you haven't seen it already, I was at the game. I did do a bit of a mini vlog, so check it out if you haven't already. 2 goals from Charman, a goal from Roberts, Bailey and Sorensen. So big up to the youth team, under-23s. Obviously a massive win and doing it at St James's Park as well. Bringing in a very decent crowd of just under 4,000. Yeah, it was a good game. There was a lot of goals. And a win over Sunderland at any level is always nice to see. Players like Woodman, Sterry, Longstaff, Barlaser. There's a lot of names there that are potentially floating around progression at the first team. I thought Longstaff particularly looked really good. You can see why Rafa is giving him a chance in the pre-season. And also going back to that League Cup tie against Nottingham Forest, I think it will be a good chance to get some of those players in a first team kit and getting some time on the pitch. So yeah, big up to the lads from the under-23s. And moving on to this weekend, we have a pretty tough start of the season. We already know that. I was pretty hopeful that it could have been 3 points against Cardiff. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. We got the point. We started off against Spurs, draw with Cardiff. Now we go Chelsea on Sunday at 4 o'clock. And obviously remembering it goes Man City after that, and then Arsenal. So things aren't getting any easier for us, and obviously it's going to be a very tough game on Sunday. Chelsea have won their first 2 games. They beat Huddersfield 3-0 first game of the season, and then they went and beat Arsenal 3-2 at the weekend on Saturday. Despite Arsenal bringing it back to 2-2, Alonso got the 3rd goal for Chelsea and the winner. Well, we know what happened when they came to Newcastle last season. We won. So I don't see why we can't do it again, but obviously it's always going to be a tough one. Yedlin is expected to come back from his injury. He was absent for the Cardiff game, so that will be a benefit to our squad. Kennedy can't play. He didn't have a great game against Cardiff, as I mentioned, but he actually can't play in this game anyway because of the fact he's on loan from Chelsea. And I think it's time we see Rondon on the pitch. I know Joselu did really well against Spurs. Obviously, he got himself a goal. I think we need to just bring some fresh legs into that team, because at the moment we are essentially playing the same team we played last year. And I know the transfer window wasn't great, and I don't want to go into that in this video, but we did bring some new players in, and I'm hoping to see a bit more of them this weekend. Maybe Motu coming in. Murphy might have a chance in the team this weekend. You don't know, but the man I want to see is Rondon. And what a game to bring him in at home against Chelsea. If you could get a few goals there, that would be a very good way to start your starting debut for the club. But that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If I've missed anything this week that you want me to talk about next week, leave it down in the comments below. And yeah, thank you all for watching. As always, fingers crossed at the weekend against Chelsea, and I'll be doing my Premier League predictions video either tomorrow or Thursday, where we'll have a run through of some of the games, and you guys can basically challenge me on who can get the most correct scores for the upcoming games. Alright guys, thank you all for watching as always, and I'll catch you later.